Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 4 of Enforcer and the Dude. Russell Ingall, Paul Morris coming at you with everything motorsport, motoring, having a hell of a lot of fun along the way, I can tell you. Do not go anywhere, all right? We have some seriously fun on-track activities for you today. You're going to learn a bit as well, maybe how to do it and how not to do it. But either way, it's going to be cool. Right, coming up on the show, man, it is action-packed. Plenty of motor racing been going on around the world. Latest news and reviews, both local and world. So we've got a wrap-up of TCR's first race for them in this country. We got Supercars, NASCARs, Indy cars, Formula One. Like I said, our on-track antics as well. Grassroots racing is back again, thanks to Greenfield Mowers. And we're going to be answering quite a few fan comments too at the end of the show. So hang around for that. There's some really cool ones as well. So let's stop messing around. Let's get into it. Hey Paul, great show last episode, episode 3 with Tony Cochran. Man, it created a little bit of debate about the place, but I'll tell you what, a lot of home truths came out as well.
Yeah, I think I was at Winton on the weekend and lots of feedback from the fans, but a lot of feedback from industry personnel about Tony being on the show. So that's people that make a living out of motor racing, whether that's running Formula Ford teams or supercar teams, even some guys that were in the Hyundai XLs there that are right into the business side of motor racing. Really love what Tony had to say.
Because he's been missing in action for a while. He hasn't given him many interviews since his departure.
Well, you were the first guy to get him since he left the building. So again, things come to those that go get him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty cool though. Like I said, it stirred up a bit. But I just want to refer to something that, an article that came out only a few weeks ago in the Sydney Morning Herald.
Yep.
Quite interesting because what Tony was saying about that the telecast for supercars should be on Foxtel and free-to-air. The whole
simulcast or dual simulcast, what are you saying?
From what I'm reading here, that might be becoming a reality because I see that News Corp was forced to lend Foxtel $300 million from its own balance sheet to cover debts maturing in April.
Right. I think Australians haven't got a culture of putting the cable on. So cable TV or pay TV in the US has been there for 30 years. It's been there a long time. We haven't had it that long. If you've got to tighten the belt up and you're an Aussie, the first thing you probably do is get rid of the things that cost you money, which is your pay TV subscription.
Personnel.
And streaming's coming in. So they're in for a little bit of a tough time, you know.
Well, we found out ourselves how strong online is because look at how this show's been going and the number of views that it gets.
Yeah, and we're starting to commercialise it a bit as well.
Well, they lost 100,000 subscribers in the first 3 months of this year. The first 3 months of this year, 100,000 subscribers were lost.
That's a big. So you're averaging what, $80 a month or something?
Yeah.
That's big dough.
That's a fair bit. So, and the future doesn't look well. According to this, they said Foxtel was $1.5 billion in loans and bonds, the bulk of which mature over the next 18 months. So like I said, I'm reading this from an article from the Sydney Morning Herald. This is not for me, this is public knowledge as well, so anyone can jump online and see this. So where I'm getting to with this is what Tony was saying about a free-to-air component. They might have to come in because I don't think they're going to have enough money to do it on their own. Well, they might have to split the bill a bit.
Supercars went to Foxtel because of the big number.
Yeah.
It was, let's take the big check, and it was really, short-term gain for a long-term loss. So I can't see the TV rights reaching a big number that it used to be, and that's going to be the big worrying thing. If I'm the captain of Supercars, how am I going to get the big money for the TV rights?
Well, that's what they're saying even with cricket. I mean, that was over $1 billion, that deal for the cricket, and they reckon they'll never see those sort of numbers again, whether it be subscription or free-to-air. I'm afraid it's going to be taken back because it's not like free-to-air and a lot of out of sports as well.
Yeah, but the way to fix it is make the racing good, give something people to watch, and they'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And cut some costs out of the cars, so trim your cloth accordingly.
Make racing great again.
Yep.
You keep saying it. TCR, Eastern Creek, was the first round of
Sydney
that,
Motorsport Park.
Sydney, oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm old school, all right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Sydney Motorsport Park. I mean, first round out there, first race in Australia for the TCR category, which is a worldwide category. I watched Sunday's races. I didn't purposely watch Saturday's race because I get a better gauge on comment feedback. So I got online and watched all the comments because I reckon you get a better read through what punters say, rather than going out and forming your own judgment, because my views might be different than what the general punter is.
Yeah, gotcha.
Like Tony says, all about the fans.
Yep.
So, and it wasn't glowing, the first race, but to be fair, I suppose first time out everyone was a bit cautious. What's your read on it?
I thought the racing was soft, you know. TCR is a contact, hard-hitting race category, and Cams and TCR have just turned it into soft racing. They need to if they want to be something that people will come and watch, there need to be bumper bars flying and cars spinning off and guys getting into it.
Yeah. It was better. Sunday's races were a bit better again, and I think it's a bit of the drivers and teams getting their head around the car.
Oh, there's a lot to learn, different driving style,
sure,
and it's going to get better. But
front-wheel drive.
The racing's got to be hard, man. It's got to be hard racing, and I'll watch it.
Well, you've led me into the next thing, is Nathan Morecambe, who got hit up pretty hard. He actually got 3 penalties. I think most of them were in the same race. I watched 2. The third one was a bit marginal, where he stuck a dude into the fence.
Yeah, but even then, mate, let them 2 sort it out.
True.
You know what I mean?
Well, out of the 3, that was the rudest, right?
Yeah.
So it was a 50-50 call whether you do something. The other 2, it was just like in the hairpin, Sydney Motorsport Park, you know, where most of the passing's done, a little bit of a rub, gets a penalty for it.
Yeah.
What are they thinking?
Well, to me, that's always been the problem. You go racing and you pay for the rights to have TCR off Cams, and then Cams is the one that sets the rule book and decides your penalties or what you're going to get. So, I'm going to reiterate, if they want to make this something different to what's out there, look how TCR racing goes in the rest of the world and take the gloves off.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched one from Zandvoort, I think the last World Touring car race. It was actually pretty good. And just digressing a little bit, Formula One have got a race. I don't know how they're going to race around that track, because Norwell's bigger than Zandvoort, but anyway, and it was actually a really good race. They had about 26 cars on the grid. It was quite cool. They've got to let them, because again, and we always talk about it, racing, no doubt about it. And for, like I said, for Morecambe, I don't know Nathan Morecambe. It's not like
I do. I mean, he's not an aggressive guy.
It's not like it's not like I manage him, so I'm not sticking up for him. No. I'm just going purely on what I saw. And what the outcome was, and 2 of those things were, seriously, if you're going to go down that road, the series is going to hit a roadblock before it even gets going.
100% agree, mate. Take the NASCAR rules and put that into touring car racing in Australia, and you'll have something.
Cars are cheap, panels are cheap. Let them rip into it. Yeah,
and for me, and I'll go back to Winton, there was 42 Hyundai XLs on the weekend at Winton, and that was the most popular thing on the track there. That the racing was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. The people were on the fence, they were cheering them. There was passing going on, and there wasn't anyone over scrutinising the tactics on the track. So.
Hey, talk about crystal ball stuff as well. We're talking about Formula Ford in the Grassroots section. We're talking about Hyundai XLs. Both of them were on a Winton.
Which was, Supercars was fantastic, and when you looked at the Formula Ford and the Hyundai XL, to have those grassroots categories that the sport needs on a major supercar round was fantastic, and the crowd really enjoyed it. They got to watch a full field of cars having a car race.
Well, I hope it really sinks in. And it takes into account, doesn't matter what it is, if the racing is good, that's all people want to watch. Doesn't matter how fast or slow they are.
No, it doesn't matter how fast they slow they were, and there was a lot of young people moving around the paddock, and every time I walked up to where the Hyundai XLs and the Formula Fords were, there was young people milling around there, engaged in what was going on.
No, look, I hope that someone listened to us in TCR land, because that's what needs to happen. And I'll pull up another thing as well. It's not a TCR bashing session, but this show's all about telling it how it is, and the deal is, You know, they're making a lot of statements already. I hope they're not going down the road. Whoever's giving advice in the background of, oh, let's just start throwing out wild claims, you know, like 30 car grids by 2020 and races linking with TCR in Asia and all this. Not even past the first race yet. You know, like we've only had one race in this category.
It's just a headline grabber. But the headline should be about the racing. You shouldn't have to create commercial headlines about the sport. The racing that you put on track should be a headline. If it's not, you've got your on track stuff wrong.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, and as you always say, Paul, make decisions about racing with racers, not marketing people.
Yeah, mate, leave the commercial guys to chase the money and put some races in there about how to go car racing.
Don't make wild claims, and it will go forward. Right, now we've got well, geez, I'll tell you what, there's some stuff going on over the weekend. Supercars, mate, we got to talk a little bit about that because you were there. What's your take on the whole thing?
I was bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from the Hyundais and the Formula Fords.
Yeah, look, the racing was boring. It was predictable. You knew it was going to happen. And then Winton's a hard place to pass. And when you've got to have a go at Winton, if you're going to pass, you've got to have a lunge and you've got to dip it in there. And if you have a crack and the guy doesn't want to let you pass, it's going to end in contact. So again, I go back to the rules of engagement around the sport needs to be freed up so people will watch it.
Are they throwing out the cane too much again? Too early, too much, too soon with penalties? Yeah,
it's to me it just doesn't seem consistent. And then they've got this new thing called Hawkeye. So Beardo's got this new system which you have in tennis, and NASCAR use it to judge their pit lane penalties. So he's seen a lot more views of what the general punter's seeing, which when you're watching the racing and you see some action, it just makes it more confusing.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Right, so I'm
too many eyes.
It's too many eyes, mate. The best racing was when we had never had cameras in the cars.
Agree.
Now we've got all these cameras in the cars and all these people watching, just walking. Everyone hates a dobber, mate. Who was the worst bloke in school? The guy that dobbed everyone in.
He's the one who used to get pounded.
Yeah, so for me, it's over-scrutinised.
And they've got...
Beardo's got a job to do. They're giving him more tools. You're just going to keep finding more stuff going wrong.
They got this. Is the email system still going, like from teams?
Yeah, the LAN. Yeah, I've been here.
They got this thing where it's like, basically, they call it LAN or whatever they call it, but it's an email system.
It's a direct line. It's like the bat line.
As soon as everything goes on, the teams are going, oh, well, he hit our car, so they're firing it into the stewards. Get rid of that thing. Grab it,
or make
throw
it
it over the wall.
Make it public on the TV feed and see who the whingers are.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
So so if they've got a gripe with someone,
come up the thing. Ryan's story says that someone's been hitting the left rear. You're still going to see who the sooks are.
Perfect.
I'm not saying Ryan's a sook. I just use that as an example.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Roland.
They're all into it, mate.
Because they do it. Every single thing, they fire it into it because they're just trying to bluff each other as well too. So they keep firing it and eliminate that. Eliminate the schoolyard dobber.
The schoolyard dobber, mate. We've got to get that out.
No more. Hey, the Scott McLaughlin, Fabian Coulthard, cutting the track thing. I've got some vision up here. We've got to have a look through it. I've got my version of it, and I think there's a few things that are going to come out of this.
All righto.
Right, and a few incidents that have happened over time as well.
That's the world's best technology centre there.
Oh, yes.
That's our new sponsor.
Thanks to WT Technologies as well. So, right, here we go. Let's just go back a little bit. Right out, here we go. Coming out of turn 4.
Yep.
Right. Fabian Coulthard runs a little bit wide. Fabian tags McLaughlin, which I reckon McLaughlin had more to do with that than Fabian. Fabian rejoins almost towards the end of the pack, or at the end of the pack.
Yep.
Scott McLaughlin heads straight across.
Yep.
Into turn 8.
Yep. Rejoins.
Probably thought, okay, that's probably a little bit greedy. I'll just drop back a couple. He was actually in second when he came off at the sweeper, so he's probably done half the right thing, actually dropping back to third place.
Yep.
Chaz, who should have fired him off there, had to on his time. He should have, if that was me, I just would have drilled him straight off the track because he's come back on, perfect opportunity, he's blocking, send him.
Blocking, dirty tyres.
Absolutely, just send the dude.
Stopped early.
Absolutely no doubt about it. So out of all that, Paul, who did you think at the end of the day was in the right and the wrong as far as the whole passing thing goes?
Well, for me, I thought Scott turned in on him. From what I can see, because there's plenty of track towards the right, and he just come in, and Fabian's up on the curb. He can't really go anywhere.
Yep.
But again, Beardo's got more stuff to look at than we have, so the average viewer's confused again.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought Scotty turned down on him. You know, Fabian got pulled up for it and got a penalty. He got another 15-second penalty out of that. So he got a penalty for joining the track as I believe in the right spot. So he penalised himself anyway. Then he cops 15 seconds.
He wouldn't be happy.
He
wasn't. He was on the radio blowing up.
I'd be blown up too.
Yeah.
I reckon that was an absolute dud call. Now, as far as Scott McLaughlin firing through and cutting out 3 corners.
Smartest racing driver on the track, mate.
Doesn't that go to show, read your briefing notes?
Read the briefing notes. He knew he could rejoin before turn 9.
Yep.
He didn't even try to turn left, mate. He just arrowed it, dropped a gear and drove straight across the other side of the track. And that's the sort of stuff that wins you championships. Know your rule book.
Yep.
Know what you're doing.
I'll put my hand up. I used to come out of a driver's brief. The first thing I did with those briefing notes went straight in the bin. I never even read the things, right? That goes to show you that how smart, whether it's the team telling Scott to do it, but obviously Fabian didn't. Because
Fabian didn't. So he would have had the same. He thought it was turn 5. So
that's what he said.
Scott's on top of this stuff, mate. And
absolutely.
Hats off to him.
So he could have made it around and joined in 5.
No problem.
No doubt about it. But why would you? If the regulations say you can fire across, as long as you go in 9, you won't lose any track position. Man, I'd take it every day of the year.
Yeah,
go
he's
straight across
100%
if I knew
right.
it. So as far as the incident goes, I think Scott McLaughlin was in the wrong about who fired who off. As far as a rejoin goes, Scott McLaughlin gets the cut for that because he was smart. He read his notes.
Yep.
Now, let's roll to incidents that have actually cut tracks out. Now, excuse me, everyone, all we got's pictures because, believe it or not, I tried to roll back and find these incidents where drivers have cut the track and the vision's been cut. By who, I don't know, but don't show the full thing. It only shows the car going off, doesn't show the full incident. So,
it must be a coincidence.
Yeah, it must be a coincidence. Someone's edited it. Yeah, right. Okay. Because we don't want to see anything bad, do we? So anyway, so this is 2015 David Reynolds, right?
Yeah, outbraked himself there.
Outbrakes in.
Yeah.
Spears off at turn 5.
It's the right-hander up the back
the right-hander before we go up the hairpin, right? So to give everyone an idea where it is, so he's gone, right? So we'll give you a little bit of a heads up on where that is, right out. There's a Darwin map. Spears off at turn 5, right? Goes straight across to turn 7, skips all that part of the track out, on he goes. He said he couldn't make it back on. There is a bit of a gully there. Cited that for not being able to do it.
Yeah.
Goes out, wins the race.
Yeah.
Right, still won the race. No problems at all. So you got to look at that and go, I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, it was in the regulations. So what I'm getting to here is that...
Well, it comes back to safety.
The McLaughlin thing isn't an isolated incident. Yeah. This has been going on since 2015.
I just want to put in there, the turn 9 thing at Winton's been there a long time. It always used to rain there and be muddy.
Yeah.
So if you got into that mud and tried to stop and turn back, you'd never come out.
So that's why
that's
how
that got in there. If you go back far enough, when it was muddy there and you went off, you could stay on the gas and it was safer to rejoin over there before 9.
Rather than getting bogged and
causing a red flag or whatever. That's how that come about.
Okay. Again, must have been something about 2015.
Yeah.
Shane Van Gisbergen and Jason Bright.
Yeah.
Right. Coming down the hill into turn 4. Shane was a bit optimistic, as he admitted to. Sent Jason Bright out. This was wet conditions as well, very slippery. Jason Bright has a bit of a spin, ends up right off the track here. Could have probably made it back on. You know, I reckon he would have got there. But I tell you what, you want to see a little bit of grass cutting? Well, here's the Sydney Motorsport Park track, right?
Yep.
So this is turn 4. So come around there. Shane's fired him off. He's spun. There's this new cut through that they got through. Got on there, cut through, comes out at the hairpin. Cuts out that whole part of the track. You want to cut quarter of a track out? That's the way to do it. Right? Again, he either was on the podium or just outside of it, but still kept his points. No penalties, game over, no problems at all. Shane admitted it was his fault and probably deserved to keep his position, but even still, Do you think, okay, again, that was legal, but do you think all this is getting a little bit ridiculous, Paul, that they should either be put chicanes in? They know the problem areas. That's 2015. They know there's a problem area in Darwin. There's a problem area at Eastern Creek.
It's been done before, mate. There's a chicane at Sandown.
Perfect.
So what's the difference, mate?
No,
You know what I mean?
Well, they put that in there too, because people were firing off in one and going to turn 4.
There's got to be a penalty for leaving the track.
Yeah, so they put a chicane there. The chicane was tight enough that you'd lose a few.
Whether you get pushed off the track or lobbed off the track or there, but it's not your own fault.
Yeah.
If you're shortcutting the track, there has to be some form of penalty. Or non-advantage for that you can see that it's got to be a chicane, a cut through, a stop and hold or totally something.
Agree. And easy to do, witches hats, doesn't have to be a wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they know the problem areas in each track, so whoever's doing the track inspections should pay attention with this. Maybe look in the rear vision mirror.
It's been done. So Sandown's been an issue. That's been an issue.
So fix it up so it doesn't happen again.
Yep, for sure. Fix it up.
Because it is a bit rude. It's legal, but it's rude.
You haven't covered the full race distance.
No. Yeah, absolutely. So not that hard at the end of the day. Geez, one of the biggest races of the year, Indy 500.
Yeah.
Man, that just spins
wasn't
me
it
out.
good to see Lee Diffie, the Aussie,
broadcast
it? That was fantastic.
Absolutely. His first time. Is that the first Aussie that's ever...
Yeah.
Aussie that's ever commentated?
Yep, Indy 500.
Indy 500.
And did a great job.
He's a star over there, old Lee. And we're big fans of the Diffie, the Diffster. So, that was really good race. Good race, but... To me, it was the things that happened on the lead up to it as well. Fernando Alonso.
Big story, hey?
Not making the grid after last year being one of the, last time he raced the Indy 500, being a contender until his engine blew.
Yep.
Didn't even qualify. I mean, there was a privateer that qualified in front of him. I think that actually bumped him out. A privateer team that had no money, self-funded. Pretty embarrassing. It
is pretty embarrassing, and I think it all goes back to the demise of the Honda relationship. So he's given Honda a spray when they were the Formula One engine supplier. Last time he did the Indy 500, he did with Andretti's and Honda. So it was.
So that's why he couldn't run with Andretti's.
That's why he couldn't run with Andretti's, because Honda wouldn't give him a motor. So
yeah, I mean, but to me, McLaren are struggling, have been for many years on the Formula One trial. To go over and think you can go and play in someone else's backyard, right? A European team. That's a big call.
Carlin basically ran that car, which Carlin's very successful in junior formulas in Europe. They've been in the US in Indy Lights for several years and been very successful. That's championship, and now into IndyCar, but their cars weren't fast at all.
Still pretty green in the whole aspect of IndyCars, though.
Yeah, it has happened before. Like if you go back to the Penske cars 12 years ago too, both those cars failed to qualify as well. So it had happened to some big names.
But it's hard. I mean, I know the might of McLaren and all the rest of it, but to think you can go over there, it'd be like, I liken it to a supercar team thinking they can go over to America and run a NASCAR at Daytona or one of the, and think they're going to win.
It's just not going to happen, mate.
You can't. Different way to go about it.
But you can't do that with anything. The guy who won the Hyundai XL race on the weekend, he's got the best Hyundai XL in the world. If you and me grab one and try to compete with him, you're not going to be able to do it because there's all the little tricks, right?
Yep.
You know that with go-karting. The guy that's right into what he does is the best at what he does.
No, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Will Power finished 5th.
Yeah,
which was a really good effort.
Yeah, so
really good effort.
He had a penalty for a pit stop, put him on the back foot.
He tagged
ran over an airline in one of his pit stops. Again, Hawkeye probably caught him out, So everyone's on safety, and you're getting all these penalties built around safety and all that stuff. Like, motor racing is just dangerous. Shit happens, mate. It's like, that's why people watch it.
I couldn't agree more. Like, it's not like, if he sent one of his pit crew over the other side of the fence,
anyway, so he's broke the rules. He's got to stop and hold at that pit stop, and then went to 20th, got back up to 4th or 5th, but he didn't have the speed in the end anyway.
Yeah. Scott Dixon had dramas, which he was one of the favourites as well. But he had some damage earlier on from an accident, hit some debris on the track, broke the floor, so his thing was handling like a bit of a dog, so a bit of a shame. Simon Pagenaud.
Last 4 laps were crackers, mate.
Yeah,
it was between Pagenaud and Rossi.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who was going to win it. I really could not predict it. Thrilling TV, thrilling end to an awesome motor race.
Spins me out how fast they are. And they're just pinned. They're flat.
Geez, they're brave boys, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. You need big coconuts for that one, I reckon.
They're brave boys.
Yeah, that's all right. Formula One, Monaco, which is one of my favourite races. A racetrack that you shouldn't be racing, but they do because of the glitz and glamour and spectacle and all the rest of it.
If you look at all the inspections you've got to go to get racetracks certified by the FIA now, and they still race at that place. So why are we still creating all these boring racetracks, the Tilke designed racetracks with runoff and grass, when you can still go have a hard-ass racetrack like that?
Couldn't agree more, and something which I think was very touching and fitting as well. A lot of tributes to the late great Nicky Lauda.
Yeah, it was
amazing.
Shock.
Yeah,
shock, but
a lot. A lot of the colours of the helmets. Lewis Hamilton as well, doing replicas of that. It was pretty cool because, man, I tell you what, I think my memories of Nicky Lauda would be coming through that era of racing where you didn't know whether you were going to come out the other side. You go into the race meeting and going,
there's a half a chance you weren't going home that night.
No, I'm going to punch my clock in this race and that's it. Never to be seen again. And some of the documentaries that I've seen, when they say that a lot of them were friends and you didn't know which one of your friends were going to come out after the weekend. You're going to lose 1, 2, 3. Just amazing period of time. So, I mean...
What they used to say, I didn't want to be the fastest Formula One driver, the oldest.
The oldest? Yeah, that's how you won. So a great loss, but great tributes as well to a great driver and great man. That's about our wrap-up so far for what's been happening in racing. Paul, I haven't filled you in too much about this.
Okay.
All right. Because we've got I've planned a little bit of on-track activity because the centre of gravity test with the van, mate, that went off its head. Everyone loved it.
They did love it, didn't they?
Yeah, and more to the point, in a fun way, actually showed people what it was all about and can understand. So it got me thinking, and I reckon we can do something else. And we keep talking about aggressive racing and racecraft, race tactics. I thought, let's show it live. Let's get out on the track here at Norwell.
Yep.
And let's show it live. I've got a few cars lined up for you. Like I said, I haven't prompted you on
nice
this.
Cars?
Some nice cars and some... Yeah, anyway.
All right, I'll follow your lead, mate. You haven't done me wrong yet.
A couple might.
I didn't die on the centre of gravity test, so I reckon.
You didn't die on that one. So anyway, let's get out on track, and I'll explain it to you when we get out there.
Love it.
Okay, dude, we've got a couple of your Norwell score cars here.
Yeah, some Aussie iron Holden SS Commodores.
Unfortunately, we've got no Fords.
No.
But that's all right. We'll balance it up with a Ford T-shirt. All right, we're good. So we're going to go out, use these, and we're going to show you how to race, right? That's what we're going to show everyone, how to race without damaging the cars as well, because you don't want these two wrecked, do you?
No, I don't want them wrecked, but touring car racing's always been a contact sport, and we're going to show you that you can actually have contact, move the other guy out of the way, get the pass done without tearing up the car.
Absolutely. If we don't tear these up, sure as hell you can do it in a race car.
Bloody oath you can, mate.
Let's go do it, dude.
Righto. Come on, Rusty. See what you got, mate.
Here we go for our first manoeuvre. Round the sweeper here at Norwell. Dude's in my slipstream. I'm going to go mid-track. I'm going to try and block him. I can't see. Where's he gone?
Woo! Here I come, brother, down the inside. You're going to cop that, mate.
No, I'm going to hang around the outside. I'm going to hang around the outside.
Have some grass. Have some grass.
typical dirty, dangerous dude.
I didn't touch you, mate. What are you talking about?
Hey, if I'm going to hang around the outside, I've got to be prepared to die, so that's my fault.
Well, if there's a wall there, you wouldn't do it, would you?
Well, let's get on to the second one, eh?
You have to dig deep in your bag of tricks, mate. If you're going to... I'm not falling for that one.
For you. I'm going to make it harder for you, dude. You ready? Okay, here we go. We're going to pick up speed. You're in my toe again.
Old enforcer, eh? He reckons he's pretty good.
Yeah, no way, mate. I'm going to block you. I'm going to drive down the inside. Now try and get past me. Try and get past me.
You got shit all over your tyres. You're going to understeer off, and I'm straight up the inside. See you later,
And
mate.
you fed me again. Ah, damn it. Damn it. Every time.
Well, yeah, on the dirty part of the track, you can't stop, mate.
And if I'm going to block, mate, well, you got to have a go and fix me up on the way out.
Yeah, well, if you've got a block, you've got to park it, haven't you?
Okay, for the second part, we're going to show you a few tactics here. If I'm wobbling around a bit, so I'm a bit hurt on tyres, but I reckon I'm going to keep this driver behind me, you know. So I'll just drive around in the middle of the track, you know. Oh, whoa!
Cop that, mate.
Yeah, he's pushed me wide. Man, I am dead, and I've got a lousy run out. I can't even keep with him.
Now I've got to dig real hard here because I've just given him a shot. And I know if I can't drive away from him, it's coming back.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about motor racing, and this is the way it should be. A bit like NASCAR, you know, if you got to get as good as you give.
So I'm working real hard because I know the enforcer's behind me, and I've just given him a shot in the bumper. And I know he's coming. I know if I don't get away from him, it's coming.
Rightio, I've got a new lease on life after that little manoeuvre the dude's given me, so...
He's working me over. Let's see if I can get away from him. I know there's one coming back because I've just given him a shot. So right now I'm expecting it. I'm just waiting for it. I'm trying to split a cup. I got nothing. He's pushed me wide. I got whiplash out of that one, Russ.
Oh, I got the run on you, mate. There, done.
See?
Look,
in the old days, I probably would have had you hanging out of the fence right about now.
Exactly right. These are just stock road cars. We've got no damage on them. We've come out of it and lived to fight another day. A few of these other race drivers did the same. You'd get a lot more entertaining racing.
The rules are on the side on the side of the slow driver.
Exactly right.
And then when a guy gets over defensive, because the rules are on his side, that's when you get all the damage. So, you know, they just need to let the drivers get on with it. The drivers are good enough to have some contact and know who's got what. What have we got going on here, Russ? What's with the helmets?
Well, mate, I haven't given you the full story. We're actually going to reenact the Scott McLaughlin Fabian Coulthard incident at Winton, all right? So we've even got a left-hand sweeper here at Norwell. So this is going to be a genuine deal, right? So here we go. Right, I got a bit loose. I got a bit loose coming out of turn 4.
Oh yeah, I got an overlap. You got an overlap? Digging around the outside. I'm digging around the outside.
Well, you better have a good overlap, dude, because I'm not getting out of it. And cop that one, eh? Paul McLaughlin has just cut across the track, right? All right, he thinks he can get away with that. Well, this is what Chaz Mostert should have done, right?
Oh, Jesus, mate.
Maybe I shouldn't have hit him that hard. Okay, all good?
Mate.
Oh, man. I can't believe what you've done with the workshop hack.
I know, Todd's going to be... You'll have to wreck these ones as well. Scrap metal
Todd
coming
from
up.
Raw Metal Corp won't be happy about this one. Well,
Yeah.
mate, if you're going to cut the track...
Well, mate, that's what I would have. I wouldn't have lifted.
No way.
No.
And that's, like, you would have been in your right to do it.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. Do you reckon there'll be a steward's hearing after this?
Oh, there'd probably be a steward's hearing, an appeal, they'd rewrite the rules. But at the end of the day, just put that in the driver's hands, because if you did that to me, that'd be coming back to you next week.
Think of NASCAR.
Yeah.
Payback's a bitch.
Payback, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Craig Bagg, good luck working out that one. Well, Paul, you don't hold any grudges against me, though, because we haven't got a DSO out here, but...
No, that one was for the fans, mate, so I'll give you a credit on that one.
You give me credit. You're not going to get me back?
No.
I'll tell you what.
Actually, I enjoyed it, mate.
All right,
I enjoyed it.
But it just goes to show you, though, it really demonstrated actual wheel-to-wheel racing, what you should be doing and what they should be doing on the track. Maybe, probably not to those extremes, but...
Yeah. If you got to take the gloves off, you got to take the gloves off.
That's it. Bring back racing.
Yeah.
Make racing great again.
Yeah. Give the people what they want, Russ.
Okay, rightio. On to our next section. The Greenfields Grassroots Racing segment, Brought to you by our friends at Greenfield Mowers. Mowers that'll mow your lawn.
How good are the lawns looking?
How good are the lawns? They look beautiful. You tested them out when we were out on track there.
Beautiful mower.
I know, they were nice and smooth as you were skittering into that creek. Really good. So we've thought long and hard about this, and this is something that's been really close to me because a lot of my career was spent in this category, and that's go-karts, go-kart racing. I raced it into my late teens, actually, probably too long, but geez, I tell you what, go-karts, what a great category for learning the skills of racing and to see whether you've got the it factor.
Yeah, 100% agree, Russ. I can't wait to have a look at them, and the quality of racing drivers coming through our categories at the moment at such a young age proves how good Karting Australia is. It's in great shape.
Oh, absolutely. Now, a good friend of ours, Mick Doohan.
Yeah.
He's actually the chairman, in case everyone didn't know that. So he's putting back in because his son Jack is heavily into Formula 3 and Formula Asia racing.
Yeah, he's come through the karting.
And he's come through the karting, was a very good karter himself. And Mick is actually the chairman of Karting Australia. Also, Kelvin O'Reilly.
Yeah, Kelvin.
Back from the 2-litre.
He used to run the Super Touring days and was representative of the teams when it was Tiga. So I used to represent the teams on the supercar level.
So they got some people there that know racing.
Yeah. And
running Karting Australia.
Yeah, and they reorganised it to be a proper championship where you're scoring points in every round. Before, when you would have done it, it was a turn up one race with the Australian Championship. So that the kids, and I use Brock Feeney, for example, who now drives for me. He's 16 and he's racing my supercar. And it's like you're dealing with a 25-year-old. So they're doing the right thing for sure.
Because it's similar on how the build-up is.
He knows about tyres, he knows about qualifying, he's just calm. And the whole process about going racing is just at a really high level at a young age.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I was staggered by these numbers. I got hold of Karting Australia to get some numbers. 6,500 competitors, or over that, Australia-wide. That is a massive amount of competitors.
Yeah, big participation sport.
And it's pretty well self-funding, Karting Australia as well. It's through memberships, their licensing, the club events as well, entry fees and that sort of thing, and of course sponsorship. No category or sport can survive without sponsorship as well. So, geez, they do a great job.
Let's have a look at them.
Yeah, well, funny you should say that, Paul, because here on Enforcer and the Dude, we don't hold back. We only get the best, all right? So we've got John Targett, a Formula World karting champion as well. He's got one of the largest kart shops in Australia, right here in Queensland as well.
Yep.
Sells the JC kart, so we'll give James Courtney.
James Courtney.
James Courtney.
Has he got his own karts?
He's got his own cars.
I knew that. I was just trying to get the plug in there for him.
I know. Well, we're doing the right thing by you, James. So, so we brought him down. He's brought a whole range of karts down. He's going to talk us through because I've been out of the loop a fair bit about what's going on. So let's get out to John. He's on the track and he's going to take us through different categories of karting.
Ripper.
Hey, John, really appreciate you bringing down all these fantastic karts for us because our Grassroots segment, we want to give a bit of love to karts because it's dear to my heart. I mean, a majority of my racing was in these things here, but it's changed a lot since when I first got into kart racing. Take us through the steps now and the categories. So think of me as, I'm a young guy. It's a hard picture, I know, but I'm a young guy that's come to you. Where do I kick off and what age can you kick off?
So 9-year-old, we start here in cadet. 7 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so 7 years old we can start racing.
Yeah.
Through to 9 years old.
Yep.
Cadet 9 they call it.
Okay.
And then from 9 to 12 we can run Cadet 12.
Right.
The same kart, just changes a little bit on the engine side of things. Same tyres, same go-kart.
Right, so like restricted tyre, one make
restricted tyre, one make tyre.
Open chassis, you can have different chassis. Yeah, okay.
Just determines on the wheelbase.
Right.
Kind of determines if you're allowed to use it or not. 950 wheelbase normally.
What a great setup for a kid that wants to start out and teaching them all about racecraft and everything else that goes with it.
Yeah.
So cool. What size engine?
60cc.
60cc.
8 horsepower in the Cadet 9.
Okay.
And about 10 horsepower in the Cadet 12.
Still get up to a reasonable speed?
90k an hour on
Whoa.
Ipswich, we do, yeah.
That's enough to pay attention.
Yeah, keeps your
especially
wits
for a
about.
7-year-old.
Yeah, for sure.
Well. Okay, so where do we step up from there? So
12-year-old, we step up to junior class.
Okay, right.
They call it KA4.
Yep.
So restricted engine again,
Okay.
restricted tyres, wheelbase, minimum 101 wheelbase.
Yep.
So 101 centimetres.
Okay.
Everything else is all free. You can run any chassis.
It looks pretty safe too with side pods and all those sort of things on, so you can have a bit of contact.
Yeah, rear intrusion bar also now.
Okay.
Front crash bar,
Yep.
spoiler.
Right.
Takes a bit of impact, keeps a
Electric start engine?
electric start,
Yep.
100cc,
Right, okay.
about
so
14
stepped up.
horsepower.
All right, okay. So you're starting to get up there then?
Yes, starting to go.
Top speed of something like this?
100 kilometres an hour at Ipswich,
Wow.
you'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty decent.
It's going all right.
That's
yeah.
enough to pay attention.
When you're
okay.
12.
So we've come out of this and we're a bit of a star. Where do we head to after this?
We go all the way up to KZ, we can
Right.
go to. So 6-speed, 125cc engine.
Okay.
Anything up to 135 kilometres an hour at Ipswich, probably.
So like a motorbike sort of
Yeah, so it has a
hand setup?
sequential gearbox.
Yep, okay.
Forward, back, 6-speed. Clutch just for the starts, only for the starts.
Okay.
Not a flat shift, you have to little lift, so no shift cut on it.
Forward disc brakes.
Forward disc brakes, yeah.
And what sort of speed would something like this get up to?
At Pimpama, we did 165 k's an hour in qualifying.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
165 kilometres an hour.
in qualifying, yeah.
Man, that'll be so cool. What about tyres wise?
So restricted tyres again.
Yep, okay.
So 2 sets for the meeting
Right.
you're allowed to use. You have to put them on at certain times of the event,
Yep.
but yeah, 1 make tyre.
So it must keep it fairly cost efficient on that side of it.
It is pretty good, yeah. Yeah.
Give me a ballpark figure of what we're looking for. If you wanted to do a season in this and be competitive, what do you reckon we're looking at?
Can start from $30,000,
Yep.
something like that. Depends how much practice
Okay.
you want to do and things like that. That obviously increase the prices.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for something this fast, that goes this quick, I mean 160 kilometres an hour, 30 grand's pretty reasonable.
It's not bad, is it? Yeah, for motor racing.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it'd probably be one of the fastest categories that you'd ever go into.
Yeah, the reaction time is amazing. A lot of the guys in V8s do a bit of practice in them
Yep.
to keep their wits about them.
Now, all of these are both state and national level. It's the same sort of categories throughout.
Yes, from club all through the Australian Kart Championship, you
Yep.
can use all these go-karts.
Okay, so even if you change states or you go chasing different state championships, it's all relative across the board.
That's it, yeah.
Because it used to be very mixed when I was in karts, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
some states were different than others,
Yeah,
but
when
now
we-
it's very uniform.
Yeah, when we had cams involved in Karting Australia and it was a bit mixed up, but now it's good. You can use all around the country, you can use any of these karts.
Very good. Now, this is taking me back a little bit. What do we got here?
I know what this is, mate. There's a bit of blood on this. This is the cart you lost your finger in.
Actually, funny you should say
blood's
that,
there,
Paul.
mate.
Funny you should say that because, geez, you're on the money. The whole crystal ball thing. We've had a lot of requests and a lot of comments from people. How did I lose my finger? Right?
There's the blood, mate. It's still on there.
This must be the item. To tell everyone, I was in partnerships with a guy called Colin Moe, who's still kicking around the karting industry, and we used to manufacture this kart in Adelaide. And we made, I think in our height, we made 250 karts in 1 year. Won quite a few national championships and state championships. Great chassis, we had a ball here, but actually Oran Park, the old Oran Park's not there anymore, it's a housing development. I was coming up over the bridge. It was a CIK meeting and I typically did a bit of a ludicrous move on someone, tangled, it flipped over, went upside down, forgot to let go of the steering wheel, so I had that in my hand, was dragging upside down and tore my finger off. So everyone thought it was in the chain, but it wasn't. It actually got ripped off
On the
when I
wheel.
was upside down.
That's why the blood's still there on the fuel tank,
I
right?
know, actually, it actually looks like it too, doesn't it? Yeah. But so, where did you get this rig from?
I found it on eBay, I think it was.
Yeah.
Restored it, and my wife drives it actually,
Yeah.
just for a bit of fun on the weekends. Yeah, it's good fun.
Incredible. Like, and it looks brand new. I've got to try and find one of these for myself because it brings back a lot of good memories. And like I said, I won a few national titles with the XL card as well. Fantastic. What a rig. You'll have to bring it out one day and we'll have to do a few laps around Norway.
We'll give it a go now.
You reckon?
Why not? It's ready to go. It's got fuel in it. Just keep your fingers on the wheel.
That was pretty interesting. I mean, John Target took us through all the karts and different categories. You believe they start from age 7? Blows me out.
Yeah, well, I've seen the end product, so I deal with some young guys around here that come here for driver coaching, and it just blows my mind every time. Every
Right.
time I see them get in a car and what
Right.
skills they have at such a young age.
Well, I was out here during the week with you when you had a few young karters that have just got into car racing as such.
Yeah.
Jesus, they're on it.
They're on it, mate. It's just they understand what you're talking about, so they know the language of going motor racing.
Yep. So anyone that's thinking about getting into motor racing, don't look beyond karts. Honestly, it's affordable, teaches you everything you need to know, technique and how to go racing. So definitely give karting a look for sure. And they've got a website, Australian Karting Association website. Make sure you jump onto that too, and gives you all the information on who you have to contact in your state as well. Rightio, one of my favourite segments that we've brought into Enforcer and the Dude, the fan comments, because we get tens of thousands of comments.
A lot,
seriously, like it's just out of control, which is great. Keep them coming, by the way, because we do read them and we take
I read them
notice.
because one bloke asked me to take my hat off, so I did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
One bloke told us to straighten the picture on the wall, because there was the last 2 episodes there's been a picture skew with. Yeah, so look, everything's great. I went in there today before you shot the show and straightened up all the pictures. So there you go. That's just for you, buddy. So no problems at all. Okay, we've got 5 really good questions here, Paul. So I'm going to throw this one to you straight up. Oh, Jesus, it says heap of letters, so I have no idea who it's from. Axon Jackson 2K. There's, Axon Jackson. Oh, okay, that's what it means. Would love to hear your thoughts regarding the future of esports, virtual reality, motion rigs, realistic modelling, blah, 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 blah. I've noticed new up-and-coming drivers of F1 Supercars DTM heavily utilising iRacing and other simulation software. The more seasoned drivers seem to require the seat-of-the-pants feel and have the opinion sims offer little to no value. So what he's saying here is some of the older drivers don't think it's any value. The younger drivers do. Yeah,
well, I used to be one of those guys that didn't think it was any value till Anton De Pasquale come along, and 100% can see what it does for him. And then Brock Feeney come along, and I've seen what it's done for him. So how we use that tool is the stuff we practice out here when we're coaching or we're reviewing. We'll go and just replicate that in the sim. And I've spent a bit of time around these young guys with simulators now, and they are very realistic and a great training tool.
So it does. Is it? I don't think cheating's the right word, but is that because it's too expensive to go out testing, or the lack of testing that's being restricted by certain categories?
Well, it's been restricted because it's too expensive. So
yeah. One comes with the other.
One comes with the other, but you can sit on the sim and that iRacing, the way they digitally scan the tracks, it is super realistic. And these guys aren't watching TV at night or out at nightclubs. They're on their sims racing all night, and it makes a difference. It's a great thing. And
it's only going to get better as graphics get better and the programs get better.
Yeah, and then the esports Formula One stuff's more exciting than the actual Formula One race. I switched that on TV once, and I actually thought I was watching
the real thing.
Watching the real thing till into about 5 minutes. It was just fantastic.
No penalties, mate. That's why. Got a reset button.
Yeah.
Just hit the reset. You go. Rightio. Sean Reid, and I might take this one, dude.
Yep.
Great show, better than the factory Holden cheer squad. I don't know who they're referring to. Must be another show that talks about motorsport, but anyway. Okay. Russell, here's an idea for you. I know you love hard racing. To bring back racing into supercars, they should change the point system so to encourage drivers to overtake.
Passing points.
Instead of just following each other around just to get the points. Make it worth winning. Really good point, Sean.
Right. Stadium trucks has passing points.
Does it really?
Yeah, it has passing points.
Why wouldn't you do that? Because to me that achieves, well, not only encourages you to have a go, but the other thing is not everyone, and I'm putting my hand up here, is a great qualifier.
Yeah.
Throughout their career.
Yeah.
So, but are good racers.
Yeah.
Garth Tander, for instance, you take him. He was pretty sharp coming through a field.
Man, well, he could get through a field, couldn't he?
On the first lap.
You put your money on him to be in the top 5 at the end of any long distance race, even a short one. He'd get up there. Hell of a racer.
So you race hard, you go for it, you have a big go, and you don't get rewarded for it.
Yeah, passing points would be cool.
I think that's a really good idea, Sean. And if anyone's listening in any category, but we're obviously targeting one in particular, I reckon that's a really good idea, because instead of all the other crap that goes on in racing to try and make it fictitious passing, make it encouraged, get rewarded for it.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Yeah, I reckon that's a really good idea. Great comment. Rhoda Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, loving the show. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
Mazda Rotaries? Or?
I think he is. Can we do a segment on how Russell lost his finger? Well, we've already just covered that back off with our Greenfields Grass
You didn't lose
Racing.
another one when you just drove that thing again, did you?
No, I didn't. Right, this is at you, dude. Hey, Enforcer and the Dude, great show, loving it. Thanks, Matty D. Keep up the great work. We need more shows like this. No, we don't. We just need this one. Okay, we don't want any other shows. This one is fine because we cover it all. Have been following motor racing for nearly 25 years. Love all sorts. Recently, I watched the Bathurst 93 race, and there were some old BTCC guys like Soper, Winkelhock, Win Percy. A question for you, both you guys. Which international driver has impressed you driving a V8 supercar around Bathurst? It's a good question too. So which international driver do you think has impressed you most? Because you know a lot of them have always struggled coming to Bathurst.
Yeah.
The international drivers. A lot of that's to do with the car. But who's impressed you the most over the years?
He's referring to 1993.
Yeah.
That year I was with Smoke and Joe Winkelhock.
Yeah.
We were in a BMW, so Group A car. But that guy had never been to Bathurst before. And on his second lap, he did a 15, which was about a second lap quicker than Tony Longhurst, and just went back to the motorhome, smoked and slept all day, and just every time he got in the car, he was on
Just
fire.
straight on it.
And that just blew my mind as a young kid. I was in my early 20s, he was in his early 30s, and it just blew my mind how quickly he could adapt to a track.
So roll on to current times. So we'll say over the last 5 to 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go to a bit more current.
Yeah.
Who's impressed you of international drivers that have come over? Because a lot have failed. But there's been a few standouts as well.
Yeah, probably Muller, Ivan Muller.
Ivan Muller was good.
Very good.
Yeah. No, that's a pretty good pick.
Bourdais.
I reckon Sebastian Bourdais was really good.
Yeah.
Ryan Briscoe. I ran with Ryan Briscoe at the Walkinshaw super cheap car.
Yeah, he was good straight out
We
of the
actually
box.
got third at the Gold Coast race. I reckon he was really good. Why don't teams? This blows my mind. Of why, especially for Bathurst, why don't they look at more European drivers? Because there's some seriously.
You can't test, mate.
Is it as big a deal though?
I think it is. You need to. The cars are very unique, you know. Roland Dane tells a story about the supercars like a kangaroo. It's evolved, you know, to live in Australia because it drives on all these different racetracks. They're a quirky race car. You need to do some miles in them, and you need to be up to speed. So
do they need some sort of system then? If you've got a European driver to entice them over here, they get extra test days, or because I mean, there's some seriously look at the Bathurst 12 hour. When you see all those guys come over. There's some seriously, for America and European drivers, man, there's some guns.
There's some guns there, but I'm not too worried about them not coming because I'm more about giving the young guys a go, young Aussies a go.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
okay,
it's good to see them and they can come to the 12 hour, but I'd rather see a young Aussie guy get that seat than some fighter pilot from Europe.
Yeah, I know, but I like the European drivers because I reckon there's some.
It's good for the event. Like we had Paul Tracy come and drive with us at the 12 hour this year,
and he was good. He loved it too, didn't he?
He hadn't raced for 7 years, and man, he was on it. And then it's stuff across the top of the mountain where you had to be brave.
No problems.
No problem, mate.
Yeah, no. I reckon I'd like to see more Europeans do Bathurst, to be quite honest. So there'd be a lot of Australian co-drivers wouldn't be happy with me saying that, but. That's just my thoughts.
That's just you're retired, not a co-driver anymore. No one's going to steal your ride, mate.
I don't give a damn. Oliver Sheehan, best episode yet with the chat with TC.
Yeah,
thanks Oliver. Yeah, it was good. We got a lot of very good feedback about it. Riveting with real highlights how lost current supercars management is. Well, it's an interesting comment, and we tend to probably agree up to a point. Looking forward to the future segment on the path to supercars for a young driver, okay, which we're going to cover.
Well, yeah, we've got one here in the stable. We could do that on Brock.
Absolutely.
Feeney,
we got to do something. I sat in on one of Paul's driver training segments with young guys, and I tell you what, I actually learned a few things. Shane Van Gisbergen was here coaching a couple of these guys, and I tell you what, you can think whatever you want about Shane. He actually blew me out how good he was at teaching these guys techniques. He's so good at it, isn't he? And I actually went for a few laps with Shane. Man, I tell you what, we went out in a Toyota 86. I did a few laps. He jumped in. man, spun me out. The guy is so good behind the wheel. I mean,
He's just smooth.
it's like...
And he's a good coach.
He lets everything happen.
Yeah.
As far as coaching, he really impressed me, and how he articulated to the guys on what to do. And seeing their lap times come down, man, it was a really interesting day. So we're going to have to do some segments on that.
For sure, mate. For sure.
It's really good.
I think that's him making all the tyre noise all day too.
Oh, no,
him or Anton, they're both here
it's
today.
a live track today, and there's plenty going on. So you got plenty of people here learning how to go faster. So the end part of this question is, as others have said, please explain how prize money works, as the general public hear nothing of it.
Yeah, well, there is no prize.
Well, there is no prize money in supercars, is there?
No. So the teams get a cut of the pie. So if the series is more successful, they get more money.
Yep.
Before the buyout from Archer Capital, the teams owned 75% of the company. They got 75% of the profit.
Now
they get the first.
Well, it's basically franchise money. It's money that comes back through their franchise, not prize money.
They get a preferred payment now for each car, and I believe it's around about $500,000 a car, what they're getting.
Yep.
But back in the day when TC was at the helm and it was firing, we were getting up to 1.5 a car.
No, and you just about run a car on that. So you're more reliant on sponsorship now than you were back then.
Yeah, well, the two things are missing now. The manufacturer money's gone, the start money or the team's money is down, and the cars have got more expensive. So,
but does this roll back in our previous question about getting passing points? If they have prize money for drivers,
for passing,
for passing and overall results,
100%, mate.
Like seriously, you know how tight I am with money, right?
Yeah.
If I had a carrot dangling in front of me,
well, you did,
or $100 note,
I told you it was $4,000 US on pole for stadium trucks, and you were like, "You're kidding me, mate."
Yeah, mate. If you gave me that for the win, I'd waste everyone in front of me.
Yeah.
Like I'd go like hell. Like, don't worry about that. So maybe that coincides with the passing points. Have decent amount of prize money for passing and incentive to actually podium.
Works in America. There's points and prize money on the line for every car racing series over there. So. Well,
look at IndyCar that we just spoke about too. I think Will Power still got $500,000 or 444 US for coming fifth.
Yeah, well, you were at the Archfield Speedway last Saturday night. I think Andrew won. He would have taken home $6,000.
Yeah.
At the local speedway.
At the local speedway.
Yeah,
absolutely. Interesting points. Really great comments again, everyone. Keep them coming. Make sure you keep the input coming, because this is again, we keep pushing it. This is about the fans. It's all about the fans. We heard it first from Tony Cochran here at the last episode. Mate, that's it. It's been great, mate. Out of control. Great track stuff. I don't know how that. Problem is, we're going to have to try and keep topping this. So it's hard because we do this gig ourselves. We produce it ourselves. We've got some like-minded people that sit behind these cameras here, with Andy, Cody, and Pete as well, that help us out each round. And we're doing it on a. Well, hopefully we can start getting a couple of bucks in here so we can do more. So
the Castrol sign.
Yeah, go to Castrol sign in, and the more we get in, the more we can do. So we're a little bit limited. We've had a lot of requests to go on the road as well. People want actually to go Townsville, for instance. They want us to do a show up there. There's been a lot of requests. We're thinking about it. Another thing we're thinking about, I'm trying to talk Paul into it, and I think I got him across the line. We want to commentate a race. We want to. Maybe a supercars race, we do the commentary. I think that Roy and HG used to do it, didn't they?
They did it with the State of Origin. So you put the TV on Channel 9 and turn Triple J up and listen to the...
We got to be able to do it somehow, because, mate, I reckon we've got all the facilities to do it.
Let's give it a crack.
We can get lifetime. You reckon we could? I reckon it'd be a blast.
Do you reckon we get sued or anything? Or? We'd have to check into the legalities first.
Oh, I reckon we can do it. We're allowed to do it.
Oh, okay. Right.
We can do it online. I'll look into it. If we can do it, we can do it. Because, again, a lot of people have asked for that. So we'll try and commentate a race. I reckon it'd be an absolute blast.
Righto, I'm in.
Right, okay. This is my favourite part. My favourite part of the whole segment, apart from punting you off today, is Dude's life message. Think of Jerry Springer. Take it away, bud.
Okay. You can't win the race in the workshop, but you can lose it.
Technical one.
It's preparation, mate.
Preparation.
When I look at Penske and 888 and Indy 500 and all those races, it's the team that's most prepared that wins.
Reading briefing notes.
Reading briefing notes. Scotty McLaughlin.
Notifying your driver of that. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Think about that, guys. Think about it. Mate, been fantastic once again. Hope you really enjoyed it. We're coming back at you again too. The old hard drive's going to get going, see if we can bring something bigger and better and more lunacy. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Get out of here, guys. But come back. See ya.